You wouldn't believe the chaos that unfolded in my life one ordinary morning. I mean, there I was, right in the thick of what could have been a game-changing meeting for my small business, when this woman storms in like a hurricane, completely oblivious to the storm she was about to unleash. Her face when she realized what she'd interrupted? Priceless pure shock, draining all the color from her cheeks. If you'd been in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you laugh it off, or gear up for a fight? Let me know your thoughts down below. I genuinely want to hear how you'd handle something this wild. My name's Alex Rivera, and I run a state-certified water safety training business out of my cozy riverfront cabin office. I've got the official permit framed on the wall, all legit and above board. Most days are pretty straightforward. I teach folks how to handle boats safely, issue certifications, and sometimes chat with state reps about funding programs. That crisp Wednesday morning in early May, though, everything flipped upside down thanks to one infuriated woman named Karen Whitaker. I'd been putting up with her nitpicky gripes for months, little things that felt personal, like she had a grudge, but nothing prepared me for her full-on assault. Governor Harrington had shown up in person to talk about freshwater safety grant proposals for our region. This wasn't some casual drop-in. Sarah Klein slid a thick blue folder across the table, agenda items meticulously noted, recorder humming softly. The state trooper gave his body cam a double tap, emitting a quiet beep. Official papers cluttered my desk, and I remember feeling this surreal buzz having the governor in my modest setup, surrounded by displays of safety gear and certification plaques. We were diving deep into funding that could save lives on rivers statewide, and I was pumped about the real impact it could have. About 15 minutes in, hashing out eligibility details, my office door slammed open with enough force to dent the wall. Karen Whitaker charged through, clipboard gripped like a weapon, phone camera ready in her other hand, already barking orders. Alex Rivera, this is an emergency audit of your illegal operation grant, full access to every inch of this place right now. Those were her exact words. They'll stick with me forever. The nerve of bursting into someone's space without a knock, without warning, zero respect for boundaries. The room froze in a silence so thick it pressed on your chest. Karen took a few bold steps before spotting the others. I saw her expression morph from smug fury to utter bewilderment in a heartbeat. Her gaze bounced from me to the governor, the trooper, Sarah Klein. You could pinpoint the exact second it hit her like a switch flipping. Her mouth gaped, soundless, like she'd swallowed her tongue. The trooper shifted subtly, hand hovering near his belt, not aggressive, just procedure. In the air grew electric with tension. Karen's complexion turned ashen, her lips twitching as she fumbled for words. Governor Harrington, cool as ice, pivoted in his seat and fixed her with a steady stare. "Ma'am, you've just disrupted an official state session," he said in that measured, authoritative tone politicians master. Sarah Klein, ever the pro, tapped away on her laptop and declared, "This is now on the record. Case ID 5832, May 8th. She repeated the number deliberately, twice, for clarity, then placed a bright orange marker on my desk planner. I swear, you could almost hear Karen's mind scrambling, gears grinding to a halt. I was at a loss. Here was this thorn in my side who'd been hounding me relentlessly, and she'd just crashed a powwow with the governor himself. Karen tried to rally, muttering about urgent audits, jurisdiction, and dubious gatherings, but her voice cracked, and she was already edging backward. It was like witnessing a derailment in real time, horrifying yet riveting. Her clipboard shook visibly, and she'd totally blanked on the camera meant to capture my supposed infractions. The trooper rose then, all professional poise, and stated, "Ma'am, we'll need to accompany you out while documenting this." Karen's color vanished entirely, eyes flicking wildly between me and the governor as she retreated. That clipboard trembled like a leaf in the wind. She shot me these accusatory glares, as if I'd engineered the whole fiasco to humiliate her, which, honestly, would have been genius if I'd thought of it. But I'm no mastermind, and luck like that? Not my style. The governor jotted notes methodically, inquiring about Karen's full name, her HOA role, and the specifics of her beef. Sarah Klein captured every syllable as the trooper guided Karen out with firm courtesy. I pointed out this was my licensed operation, state-approved, with permits proudly displayed for 3 years running. Governor Harrington inspected them closely, confirming all was shipshape. Once she was gone, we sat in stunned quiet for half a minute. The governor turned to me and asked, "Does this sort of thing happen often?" I couldn't help chuckling, though it was far from funny. "First with a governor involved," I replied, "but she's pulled stunts before." That's when it dawned on me. I had to start logging everything. This woman had a vendetta, and she wasn't backing down. The governor suggested meticulous records for any future hassles and promised the state took threats to certified trainers seriously. We wrapped the grant talk after the trooper returned, but the vibe was shattered. I kept eyeing the door, half braced for round 2 with backup. Governor Harrington reassured me the event would be logged and probed if needed. Sarah handed me her card, urging contact for ongoing issues like bullying or coercion. They finished auditing my setup and courses, and I breathed easier when they affirmed I exceeded standards. As they departed, I spotted Karen lingering by the neighborhood bulletin board, maybe 60 yards off, staring daggers at my cabin. Her expression? A toxic brew of scheming and rage. I'd accidentally shamed her before the state's top dog, and she was plotting payback. I could see it brewing. This was no end. If anything, the real storm was brewing. Per the governor's tip, I kicked off a documentation trail that afternoon. Timestamps, snapshots, who said what everything. I wondered if it'd shield me or paint a bigger bullseye. I should have known humiliating Karen Whitaker before the governor would bite back hard. What I didn't see coming was how swiftly and ruthlessly she'd aim to dismantle me. Next morning, 2 complaints landed in my inbox, both alleging bogus violations, and I knew the culprit. One claimed improper signage on my land. The other accused me of shady state dealings without HOA nod. Post yesterday's drama, the timing screamed obvious. The signage beef was laughable. I had one discreet sign by the door saying, "Private State Business Office," not just permitted but mandated by my cert. The suspicious meetings bit was worse, hinting at illicit GovOps from home. Technically, government was spot on, but illegal? Please. The session was legit, recorded, trooper witnessed. I spent the morning snapping pics of real neighborhood infractions, ignored forever. The double standards were jaw-dropping. Mrs. Patel, for doors down, had a huge yard sale banner up since March. The walkers sported election flags blanketing their fence, breaching HOA campaign rules. One house still flaunted Halloween decor from last fall, crickets from enforcement. Yet my tiny required plaque was suddenly a crisis warranting dual gripes. The bias was so blatant it bordered on comical if it weren't my neck on the line. When I waved at the Garcias, their garage door creaked halfway shut and jammed the politest dodge ever. I captured it all, clear shots with addresses for my files. That afternoon, while sorting my evidence, neighbor Mike Donovan swung by. He's a county tech whiz and offered to trace the complaint's origins. Little did I know how crucial his expertise would prove. "You putting in a records request on those?" he asked, eyeing my scattered papers. I confessed I barely knew what that meant. Public records request demand logs, IPs, timestamps, email trails. Systems remember everything, he explained. The notion of nailing proof on my tormentor hadn't crossed my mind. Mike guided me through filing with the HOA and county. I submitted that day to Robert Lang, our HOA pres. The ask was thorough. All records on my property for 6 months, complaints, logs, comms. Robert rang that night, voice laced with strain. "Alex, I'm stuck here," he admitted. "Karen's demanding fast action on these, but after yesterday's governor's scene, rushing seems risky." I valued his candor. He was under fire. He forwarded Karen's 1 a.m. voicemail. "Enforce now, or I escalate beyond the board." Metadata pegged at 10:32 p.m. Login, then the cowlet matched. She'd been badgering him hourly, threatening overrides if he dragged feet. We concurred. Stall enforcement till records processed and assessed properly. The toll hit home in unexpected ways. Fetching mail that evening, folks who'd always waved now averted eyes. Was it fear I'd stirred trouble, or had Karen whispered I was a snitch? The loneliness stung in a place I'd felt at home. Sleep evaded me, replaying Karen's shift from bully to plotter. This transcended HOA rules. Public shaming in our tight-knit spot festered like poison. I sensed those quick complaints were mere openers in her revenge playbook. Her filing them hours post-incident reeked of cold calculation. 8 business days, endless whispers in a small hood. I tried convincing myself she might cool off, but instinct screamed otherwise. Someone who crashes gov meets doesn't slink away defeated. It wasn't if she'd ramp up, but how viciously to reclaim face. The records packet arrived 7 business days later, a hefty envelope that weighed like lead. I brewed coffee and dove in at my kitchen table, unprepared for the bombshells. The system logs were incriminating beyond belief. User K. Whitaker logged in at 10:32 p.m. The incident night, mere hours after her ejection. Timestamps showed nearly 90 minutes crafting complaints, digging resident files, poring over policies. This wasn't knee-jerk, it was surgical vengeance. I double-read to process. Activity painted a picture of methodical case-building, cross-checking codes, precedent hunting, even scouting allies among neighbors. Email trails were eye-openers. Karen blasted board members post-filing, urging snap enforcement and emergency measures. But the kicker? A thread from 10 days prior, pre-Governor Sked. Karen had pitched a meet to Governor Harrington's office, posing as HOA rep on safety issues. Reply: courteous shutdown, directing her to channels. Subject: speaking for thousands of locals, slapped with a curt no. That sting lingered. It clicked. This wasn't rules or ops, it was payback for my accidental spotlight on her snub. Yet worse awaited. That Friday night, the HOA bulletin dropped with a headline splash: clandestine state sessions at homes spark safety alarms. Pics, snapped from afar, showed vehicles in my drive, silhouettes through windows. Rage boiled at the deceit crops hid my private state business sign. Angles screamed secrecy over legitimacy. I printed their shot next to my full frame. Her crop shaved off my sign by inches. A red outline screamed foul play. Articles cited anonymous worries on unsanctioned gov doings and neighborhood risks. Words punched gut deep, crafted to skirt lies while smearing me as shady operator. Zero nod to my certs. No boating safety context. No admit the meat was kosher. Instead, it implied rogue Fed hub in suburbia. Manipulations so slick, almost admirable. Knee-jerk? Blast and furious email list-wide. But Mike's log talk echoed, strategy over reaction. I pinned a measured rebuttal, seeking next bulletin's space to clarify. Attached, cert copies, full pics, meet timeline. Robert called within 60 minutes of receipt. Alex, I was blind to the bulletin till print, he said, regret thick. Karen managed updates this cycle, swore facts checked. I pressed on balanced reporting policy. He affirmed residents' right to counter incomplete or skewed info. I demanded space. Days dragged tense. Neighbors eyed me odd suspicion, pity. Mrs. Bennett collared me at mail. All okay with this state stuff? I briefed. Her face softened from fret to empathy. Oh, dear, Karen spun it like covert ops. Should have known. It dawned how potent her smear was, opinions forming on half-truths. 2 days pre-next bulletin, Border Maria Vargas rang. We'll ensure your full piece runs, pics too. She'd lobbied Robert for fairness, and board voted. Karen must publish my response intact, uncropped shots included. Future resident articles needed board OK preprint. Maria noted unease over handling, prevention key. The revised bulletin? Stark contrast. My bit featured full images, certs, clear boating program rundown. Crop versus full. Obvious tamper to any reader. Neighbors phoned apologies for buying the spin sans my side. Sentiment shifted, but Karen? No quitter. The breakthrough? An inadvertent email chain in records. Pre-governor, Karen forwarded her snub to 3 boarders, griping about dismissal despite representing masses. Her mortification dripped, drive to flaunt connections shown. Not community guard wounded ego, desperate to affirm status. Emails oozed overcompensation, touting vast leadership expertise and state-level quals like pleading relevance. Patterns crystallized, snubbed, then seized my access she craved. Intrusion flips shame to crusade against my unearned spot. State probed via incident report, now proof of harassment pattern. Would they side with me or a veteran HOA vet? For days post-revise, Robert called, gut-punching. Karen called emergency board meet to yank my river access, slap security fees on home biz owners. Friday eve, scant 36 hours notice. Robert sounded irked. Karen claimed urgent safety threats justified rush. I scoured bylaws. Emergencies needed full board buy-in or imminent danger proof. Neither fit, but she argued my rogue state ops risked all, demanding action. Fees. Hefty $600 yearly for home ops, plus monitoring add-ons. Timing targeted me, sole state cert biz. Friday hit quick. Community hall overflowed, biggest turnout in ages. Karen rallied. Strangers quizzed my biz's security drain. I toted docs, grant papers included. Room buzzed hostile. I pondered her influence. She fronted, flanked by backers. All feigning worry seemed rehearsed. Cues on queries and fret cues. Karen kicked off reciting multiple complaints on illicit biz and threats. Pitched access revocation, fees as vital safeguards. Robert pressed for threat deets. Her reply? Fuzzy doomsaying on unvetted state visits. Surveillance hints no proof. She framed my legit meet sinister. Public comment time. I rose, seeking doc present. Karen objected. Biz owners can't sway own issues. Robert overruled. Resident rights hold. I unveiled grant docs Governor Harrington and I reviewed. State seals gleaming. Funds for water safety, ed benefiting county, our hood included. Then, jackpot. I hooked projector. Section 4C loomed large. No redundant resident levies on state-backed river upgrades. Yellow highlight. Room hushed, even vents silenced. Grant rules banned double dips on state-funded river perks. HOA charged access/maintenance 3 years, part state grant backed via my program. Karen's fees? Breach, risking state clawback of all funds. I flagged, told tales like this before, but now starring in absurdity. An HOA officer risking community thousands over ego bruise from harassing a CERT trainer. Irony thick. In haste to crush me, she'd endanger affordable river access for all. Board half rose. Robert called recess. Karen's grip whitened on binder. Harold crunched numbers. Over $60,000 easy hit. Karen quibbled grants spared her fees. Language crystal no extras on river/safety. State could halt funds 120 days probe. Demand full repay on confirm. Meet resumed. Vibe flipped. Nodders to Karen now grilled on fiscal peril, liability. The Walkers noted grant loss meant huge assessments all round. Mrs. Bennett. Double fees now, fines later? Murmurs agreed. Why no legal vet pre-emergency? Even allies distanced from wallet-draining schemes. Vote crushed Karen. Access yank, failed 9-1. Fees died pre-vote, slain by breach fears. Robert decreed future policies need legal vet. Karen wore rigid grin, but eyes schemed. No finale, likely brainstorming next strike. I eyed her packing with robotic care, jaw clenched like battle-lost warrior eyeing war win. Prior supporters dodged gazes, grasping near vote for self-inflicted thousands loss. As folks exited, many thanked my grant flag. Maria said boarded scrutinized Karen's moves for bylaw/state compliance. Relief mixed wariness. Battle won, but her aura screamed unfinished business. Next morn, support surged unexpectedly. Mrs. Patel rapped at 7:30 a.m., box of docs in tow. Alex, last night opened icewery helping paint the full mess, she said, plunking it down. Receipts, papers from 3 years. If she toys with our cash, wrong crowd. Trailing, Walkers, Bennett's, each with stacks. Their organization stunned. Patel color-coded folders yearly, Walker's spreadsheets on pays, Bennett's every HOA note copied. Like retiree auditors invading my table. Ensued forensic frenzy. Highlighters flew, notes stuck, receipts fanned, signatures mimicking Karen's swirls, spreadsheet reddening. We arrayed by date/category. Pattern chilling. Karen hiked fees, assessments with slim notice, dubious grounds over 2 years. River fees quadrupled post her compliance roll, despite grants offsetting. Mrs. Bennett kept minutes of rushed proposals sans input. Smelled off, she said, but trusted board. Amid visitor logs Patel copied, handwriting glitches, later adds in odd ink, SIGs too alike for varied folks. I'd seen Karen's script and complaints her flair unmistakable. Forging records to fake traffic/security woes at my place. Mind-blowing. If forging, what else twisted? Afternoon, I cataloged, redacting privates while highlighting irregularities, violations. Data screamed authority abuse, fund mishandling. But pressure mounted odd. Fewer waves on male walks. Garcia's street crossed. Was I overblowing? Maybe let fade, coexist. That eve, Mike dropped grim news. Karen's phoning around, he said gravely. Spinning your vendetta-driven. Ruining her rep for catching your breaches. Tail cast me as bully leveraging state ties against volunteer. Residents fretted my division. Doubt wormed in. Too pushy? Should have swallowed complaints. Quiet resolve. Stress wrecked sleep. Eats. Focus biz suffered. Clients queried HOA mess. Some bailed cert courses. Irony. Defending legit work via drama might kill it. Karen's repost hit Tuesday noon. Slicker than expected. Robert called. Sheed County complained my records abuse frivolous harass of volunteer, burdening resources. County clerk on speaker. Single valid request, scope tight. Let echo twice. Plus, 3 residents signed backing her narrative, doubting my community fit. Statements brutal. Me as newcomer stirring pot, questioning norms, using ties to bully volunteers. One hinted biz masked state spy on hood. Surreal like alien bio. From quiet trainer to vengeful spy? By Wednesday night, I questioned fight's worth. Shunned neighbors. Biz hit. Time sunk in drama over passion work. Tempted. Apologize. Pay fines. Blend back. Battling a mistake? Coexist better. But forged logs. Grant siphons. Silencing finance query yes no longer. Just me. If she targeted one unchecked, manipulated sans fallout, who'd next? State review loomed Thursday, 4 p.m. Docs prepped. Rep. Biz at stakefold now screamed guilt. Tipping point. Wednesday night. Mailbox rifled. Porch cam caught gloved paw at 9:58 p.m. Filed it. Mail jumbled. Hunted docs? Couldn't pin Karen, but eve of probe? Coincidental my foot. Paranoia queried. Footage affirmed. Wagered all on tomorrow's state meet. What if detail off? Karen altered proof? Slept knowing 24 hours decided fate. State compliance squad rolled in Thursday, 8 a.m. Sharp all business. Ethan Reed from compliance emailed. Subpoenas Monday, banks Wednesday, interviews Thursday. Led Ethan Reed intros team, spreading files on Robert's table. Shocker, they dug deep pre-arrival. Reviewed governor report, county HOA filings, even bank flows of grant cash. No cursory glance full audit, legal teeth. Laptops, cams, paper towers. Ethan noted week-long work, database crosses, backgrounds on players. Thoroughness reassuring yet daunting. Mr. Rivera, we've uncovered major lapses in HOA finances and processes, Ethan said, flipping sealed folder. Grant funds for river upgrades show misuse patterns, double bills violating regs. Plus, doc tampering evidence targeting individuals. Official words after weeks as troublemaker? Vindication hit hard. Not paranoid. Real breaches of law. Trust. Insurance nuke next. Bigger bomb. Robert reads. Denial per clause 13.5. Intentional misconduct bar. Bar thuds like hammer. Robert paled as Ethan explained HOA coverage nixed for deliberate wrongs, intentional law breaks. Power abuse uncovered. Suits, fines, harms from Karen's deeds hit community coffers or personal pockets. Her exposure? Ruinous. Report detailed. Chronic finance glitches, procedure skips, fakes, power overreach beyond my hunch. Karen operated unchecked years, assuming small volunteer immunity. Fiscal hit huge. State pushed full overcharge refunds, potentially $40,000 plus. Residents dinged on river fees, fake security, dodgy assessments got 3-year rebates. Grant breaches risked $60,000 plus fines sans compliance pact. Robert eyed bankruptcy math. He queried steps. Ethan outlined. Consent decree for reforms, restitution or contest, pricier public fight. Evidence strong, advised pact to curb damage. State aimed fix, not wreck. That afternoon, I sought restraining order on harassment proof from state probe. Lawyers said findings backed protection, given tamper escalation. Hearing next Monday. Confident state report swayed judge. Board emergency huddled that night. Maria updated post. Unanimous pact acceptance, compliance start. Even Karen's sympathizers couldn't ignore liability bomb. Council urged state coup, cut ties to violators. Karen's role axed pronto. Support melts swift on money truths. Defenders demanded mismanagement answers, blind spots. Signers sought name pulls from docs. No one wanted taint risking thousands in penalties, fees. Hood shift dramatic, misses. Patel casserole dropped Eve, sorry for muted early back. Instinct set off about her problem seekers or problems. Garcias barbecue invited, strangers waved. Transparency, accountability rallied all 180 from weeks prior. But unfinished nod. Karen's identity tied to power, quiet exit unlikely. Order hearing pending, compliance months long. Vindictive types unpredictable, dangerous. Grapevine buzzed her rage calls on conspiracies, overreach. Mrs. Bennett said 3 calls in days, pushing I led plot versus local control. Spiraling, desperate Trisky brew. Did Karen merit what brewed? HOA's comply or dissolve choice cornered her worse. Friday morn symbolized closure I craved unaware. Robert yanked Karen Whitaker's compliance plaque from center door as I watched lot cross. Robert dumps, Karen Whitaker compliance officer, in black bag. Clangs metal. Brass emblem of harassment months trashed with selective memos, threat letters from desk. Tension lifted like fog. Robert invited witness. Deserved accountability site. Desk yielded more. Files on residents beyond mean enforcement plots, fee schemes. Ran compliance like spy ring. Accountability rolled fast. By Monday, HOA site video apologized. Board-owned lapses, vowed reforms. Roberts post pinned, owning oversight fails, announcing transparencies to block repeats. Dashboard launched. Refund progress public ticks from $10,500 to $17,200 to $28,450. Dollar timelines open felt revolutionary from Karen's secretive reign. Every overpaid got itemized rebates plus interest. Mrs. Patel reclaimed near $1,800 river fees. Walkers refunded ghost security. Even backers got cash, some hush requested. Total top $28,000 abuse, harvested funds. Overhaul deep. Officers cert required in procedures, finances, law pre-roll. Transparencies mandated reviews, input windows for enforcements, fees, policies. Unilateral days dead law embedded. Hard to undo sans mass support. Order hearing Tuesday anticlimactic. Judge Ramirez eyed state report, harassment chain, retaliation ramp, granted 2-year protection sans extra testify. Karen no-show, counsel advised low-key amid probe. Order barred contact with me, property, biz. Hood Fest organic, warming. Sunday Eve, impromptu potluck on transparency theme. Dishes, chairs, tales of Karen's iron fist. Picture emerged. Widespread intimidation more than guessed. Elders paid dodgy fees to dodge hassle. Families skipped events off radar. Relief bonded. Biz rebound wild. State endorsed plus integrity vindication drew clients galore. Governor's office statement backed harassed trainers. Calls daily, many citing my corruption stand. Irony. Her rep rec aim boosted mine. Protections soothed. Order start. State quarterly audits. Annuals ensured reforms stuck. Complaints triggered probes. Karen's legacy? Enduring oversight, opposite intent. 7 months on, change solid. New leads transparent. Detailed minutes, quarterly reports, open channels. Values up buyers dug accountable hood with State Watch. River upgrades grant-funded finished right, better all, budget compliant. Lesson big, not win/loss, but right stand guards all from abuse. From quiet trainer to transparency champ. Change ain't personal triumph precedent, shields community. Taught. Facts trump fear. Transparency safeguards. Solidarity blooms on shared vulnerability. Standing corruption crafts enduring good. What do you think, should people like Karen face criminal charges for abusing power, or is community shunning enough? Would you have backed down early to keep the peace, even knowing the corruption? Or fought tooth and nail like I did, risking your reputation and business? Drop your hot takes in the comments below. I read everyone. If this story got your blood pumping, smash that like button, subscribe for more real-life dramas, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let's keep the conversation going.